Welcome back to HBO Girls Rewatch. Evan isn't here today because they were canceled. So it's just me and our lovely guest, Riylan.
I'm not going to talk. If I'm not here, then I'm not going to talk.
Okay, well, we're so excited to be covering...
Can you intro me?
No, I have nothing left to say to you.
You haven't even been home for 24 hours.
So today we're covering season 1, episode 9 of Girls, Leave Me Alone.
Because Amelia just came back from Texas and the energy is so scary in the studio today.
Yeah, if you can hear through your ears the energy in the studio being off, I did go to my home state of Texas for 5 days to babysit my sister who's 11, and it did chemically alter my brain.
It's like Canyon Ranch, but like in the opposite way.
What? Cactus Ranch is
Canyon
the name
Ranch?
of my elementary school.
Canyon Ranch?
Cactus Ranch.
I just assume everyone that listens to this podcast also like knows a lot about Goop.
Goop?
Like poo?
No one knows about it. Yeah, like poo.
Like the...
Like
okay,
Gwyneth?
This is hell.
Yeah.
So it's Gwyneth Paltrow's brand Goop. I actually watched a Call Her Daddy episode today of Gwyneth Paltrow and Alex, whatever.
She
There's so much
stopped
to
eating,
say.
right?
No, the whole episode is like her talking if she's gonna fuck Brad Pitt or Ben, or like when she did, who's better in bed.
Oh.
They really
love
go
Gwyneth
there. They
Paltrow.
really go there on Call Her Daddy.
I'm surprised she did that. I love her.
Right?
Gwen?
I love
or
her.
Alex or both.
Both.
Period.
No, blonde women like having a lot of fun on the internet is, I mean, it's the Alex Earl effect. Like we all really like a skinny blonde woman who's like, I don't know, saying the most generic thing ever, but happy.
Yeah. And kind of chaotic. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I live for this.
This week we have on Riylan Mills, kind of a girl's super fan, and also a rising comedian superstar, currently going viral, I'd argue. And we're so excited for you to be here. Welcome,
Yes,
Riylan.
thanks. I am so happy to be here. And yeah, my manager reached out and let me know that you guys wanted to meet with me. Mm-hmm. So happy I can squeeze this in.
Why is that everyone's reaction?
When it first came out?
No, I watched it a few years later. And if I'm being honest, when I first started watching, I didn't really know any of the people. I didn't know any of the cast.
Look at this show with a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of when it came out, though.
Yeah. And then midway through, I started Googling and like learning and stuff like that. But yeah, I watched it. And then, I don't know, like a year or two later, I was like, I need to rewatch it. I need to like understand it a little bit more. Because at first I was like, I liked it, but I didn't like love it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I definitely like rewatching it. I'm like, I was so young when I first watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. And I still don't, but...
It was kind of how you felt about Broad City.
Yeah.
I like when you talk about Broad City. I felt the same way about Girls. I was like, I kind of want to move to New York. Like, this is crazy. These fucking white girls are living.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amelia's... for listeners that don't know, Amelia has a lot of comedy based around her moving to New York City because she watched the show Broad City. And
I'd
just
literally
like those
be
characters,
a devout Christian in Texas still if it wasn't for
two
Abby and
zany
Alana.
Jews.
Yeah, telling me I could actually live in a city instead.
That's crazy.
That's what Girls did for you. You're from like Nebraska, right?
I'm from Nebraska, yeah. So I remember watching it and being like...
Are you like from FarmCore or something else?
No. I'm from Omaha.
Oh, I've been there for Thespian National Convention.
Wait, you were a thespian?
True 3543.
I was a thespian too.
Stop.
Yeah, I'm out of the loop. What is this?
Thespis was the original actor, I think.
Yeah, something like
in
that.
Like in the Globe Theater in that one country.
England.
London.
It's like
Shakespeare
Corps.
Correct us if I'm wrong, because I really don't know. But I just knew I wanted my fucking
Well,
pin.
thespian's a term for actor, but is it also the first actor?
Thespian is like it's basically just drama club, but like with a national recognition.
Oh, and then you went to Nebraska for drama club. Is the musical Nebraska based off this event?
No. But going there was crazy because...
That's a joke.
We're both like, no.
You're taking it so seriously.
So you grew up in Omaha?
Yes.
And then you saw HBO Girls a few years after it came out and said, New York sounds cool.
Yes. Actually, I was going to college in Tennessee when I watched it.
You went to college in Tennessee?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God, you're in a circuit.
You're Dolly Parton, you're country girl.
No,
wait, was
literally.
It Nashville or like...
So I went to college in Chattanooga after school.
That's a song.
Is it?
Yeah, Chattanooga. Choo Choo.
Oh, the Chattanooga, yeah, that is a thing. Because there's like a train or something.
It's a train, the Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think we gotta do a damn Southern accent this whole episode.
I don't know if I could do a Southern accent.
It's crazy. You live in places they write music and musicals about.
No, I always have,
never in New York they do that. Nebraska, the musical, Chattanooga, a song.
I've never seen Nebraska the musical.
I never even heard of it.
I never heard of it either.
Isn't that a movie with an old woman who got nominated for a Golden Globe?
Yeah, I thought it was like a scary movie or something. Like,
Isn't it called Nebraska?
You mean Oklahoma?
Oh.
See. I'm like, no, you said it twice and I was like, I've never heard of Nebraska the musical.
All the Midwest is the same to me.
Yeah, no,
that's
not
so
wrong.
problematic.
Wait, so you were in Tennessee and you were like,
Yeah, so I had like came to New York for spring break, but I only like went to Manhattan. Like I never visited anything else. And I was like, okay, I liked it. And I like knew things about New York, but I only knew like Gossip Girl. So I was like, I want to watch more shows based in New York. And I literally think I Googled shows based in New York and Girls was one of them.
No.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I just was like, I want to see. And then
Did you watch Sex and the City?
I didn't get into Sex and the City until like a year or two after I started Girls.
Interesting.
Yeah, I started everything so late.
To watch Girls before Sex and the City is such a unique gift of an experience, I'd say.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy because
most people watch Sex and the City first.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, you're right. It's so crazy.
It was very unique. Sorry. It was very different.
Like, I gotta listen to one woman today. I'm distracted.
This podcast is all about you, like, suddenly tuning into the conversation.
I'm just reiterating the point.
And you're like, wait, you're a girl and you had a thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wait, amazing. And now you've just been rewatching nonstop, or?
Yeah, so I watched it then, and then I kind of like, I don't know why I started it again, but I was feeling different. Like I wanted to understand more. Also, like knew a lot more about Lena Dunham, so I was like, I want to watch.
How did you learn more about her?
Honestly, just Googling. As I was watching the show, I was like tweeting about it the first time, and
everything is Google with you.
No, this
in Nebraska,
is huge because
all you have is Google, it sounds like.
I'm a huge Googler too, and so to find out other people are Googling, to meet a fellow Googler, like one that's avid as me, it just feels like finally I have community.
I'm kind of annoying about it. Like, have you ever been on a date and they say something, you're like, oh my God, I have to Google that? I'm like trying to force myself not to do that anymore because people hate that.
Well, I think it's interesting because before the term of influencer, there's the term Instagrammer.
Yeah.
And now before there's ChatGPT, there was Googlers.
I don't chat.
Whoa.
What is it, chat?
That can't be right.
That was shocking to
No,
witness.
you ate that.
That was shocking to bear witness to.
You ate that.
My arms are I'm shrugging. I'm like, yeah, it's easy, off the cuff.
I still don't know about ChatGPT. I just know that's something you're really passionate about.
I have to get it. I've never heard of it until today.
It's like AI chatbot.
You didn't hear about it until today?
This is my
You've
first
heard of
time.
AI before?
I've heard of AI.
Artificial
I know they're like helping
intelligence.
people write papers, not to expose anyone, but that's what I heard.
Everyone knows in the world. Not to expose anyone this information that everyone knows on Earth.
Everyone knows. I'm
You're like Google. It's like, I gotta bring you into this thing. It's called Google. You can look up anything on there.
I watch girls and Google things. I don't know anything about AI.
And so you learned a lot about Lena on Google and was like, I need to revisit this show.
That's a GG.
Well, it made me want to revisit it because after I learned more about her, like I have theories and I like as I was watching.
You have theories.
I have so many theories. I'm thinking about Judd Apatow. I'm thinking about the actors on the show.
Well, your whole Twitter is kind of dedicated to girls' theories.
No, it is, and I literally am like,
which is just for Amelia and I.
It's amazing. It's interesting because I'm like, you would be lying if you said the writing was awful. The writing is great on the show.
People are so mad about the
100%.
show, and you're like, okay, but it's also really good.
It's so good. Do I want more diversity on the show? Of course. But like, it is what it is. So I kind of watched it the second time without that lens of like, she's an awful person. She did terrible things. I don't really care for her. And I just watched it as like a show of actors and not thinking about like who they were outside of that.
Totally.
So it made me enjoy it more. And it's crazy because I always was just like, I hate Hannah. Like I would never be like her. But this time watching it without thinking like Lena Dunham Hannah, I just was like, oh, okay.
You
I
have such
get
a
Hannah.
similar take. Donald Glover has the same take, where Donald Glover is like, yeah, Lena's always dropping the N-word. So crazy that one black character is Republican. Lena Dunham's an amazing writer.
Yeah.
That's what their take is.
Oh, wow. I never knew Donald felt like that. He was one of the people that was on the show. I think he was like the first black character, and then we had Jessica Williams like a few seasons later.
Literally.
That's crazy that he thinks like that. I've always wondered what people from the show thought of her who did the show. And like Adam Driver has never spoken about her outside of like the show. And I like want to know what he thinks about her so
Google.
bad.
You Googled
I
her.
have Googled, and I'm like, I just want to know what he thinks about her so bad. He would never go into too much detail.
That is going to be our Spotify question of the episode.
Yeah.
What do you think Adam Driver thinks of Lena Dunham?
No, I think this title should be like, we should say featuring Google instead of Rylan for this episode.
I do Google a lot.
Say her name. Okay, we are going to dive into the synopsis. Yes. Rylan, do you want to try and synopsize the episode?
I could try.
Okay, do popcorn?
Yeah, let's popcorn.
Let's popcorn
it. Okay. So this is what happens in season 1, episode 9, Leave Me Alone.
Yes. Okay, so it starts with the girls. They're at a book signing, a book release of Hannah's old college friend who Hannah doesn't even fucking like, so I don't even know what they were doing there, but she's being very much like, damn, I wish my boyfriend like died as well. So I had a plot line.
No, exactly.
Jenny Slates wrote a book and it got a huge release, and she has like an agent. Yeah. And so Hannah's like super comparing herself to it. And it's like her book's only big because it's about her boyfriend dying. And Hannah's like, I wish that happened to me so I'd have something to write about. And then Marnie's like, I'm actually having a good time. And then Shoshana's like, I've never been awake before. It's amazing to be out in public. And Jessa's like, I love drama.
No, literally.
No,
and
so
then
funny.
the guy from the White Lotus, the dad,
is
Hannah's old prof that's there because they both went to school together.
You say prof?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
It's like a thing.
Prof.
I never did that before.
Oh. Well, he was her prof. And so they talk, and he's like, you should come to a book reading. Or like a essay reading live event.
Yeah.
Basically an open mic.
Yeah.
And Hannah's like, I don't do that. And he's like, well, you should. And she's like, okay. And then...
It was like a reading circle. Okay, then we cut to Shoshana and Jessa. And Shoshana's talking about how she wants to try online dating. And then Jessa is talking to her old employer. And...
Kathryn
Hahn. And Jessa is like, I can't come back to work for you. And then Kathryn Hahn is giving this really empowered speech about how she can see it from her shoes, what it is like being a 24-year-old and being confused, and like how finding a passion can really define your existence. And then we go to the reading circle where Hannah is 10 minutes late and already apologizing, and gets barraged by the craziest questions by old people. And it's just like kind of leaving feeling a little bit defeated, but also like excited by future prospects. Then we go to Hannah and Marnie's apartment where they have a big falling out. And at the end, theirs agreeing to move out. Or Marnie moves out. Okay, actually, I'm kind of impressed by myself.
Yeah, that was good. That was...
There's characters.
It was all of that.
I'm proud of you.
You ate that.
Let's jump into our first segment.
Let's do it.
Girl!
What girl are you?
Oh my God, okay. When I was in Nebraska, I will say I was more of a Marnie, unfortunately. It just was like, I knew I was different from everyone there, and I just knew I was like the girl, like the main character. Everything was about me all the time. Yeah. And yeah, like I just had to grow out of that. And now I definitely will say I'm a Jessa.
I mean, the hat itself.
I just like get her. Like I loved her in this episode. I think as far as episodes go, she was more chill in this episode.
Totally.
Compared to like what she typically is. And I just like that Jessa's kind of like going through life, and life really be like lifing for her, but she never makes it completely about her all the time. Like she's just like, I don't know. She's just like, yeah, my life kind of sucks right now. And like she's going through so many things. But you never see her like in an environment where she's like, woe is me. And she's always talking about herself. She kind of just like deals with it. And I like that about her.
Totally.
And she just makes terrible decisions. Always. Like all the time. And I just love it. So I'm definitely a Jessa kind of girl.
Can I say one thing? Your description in Nebraska being like, I'm the main character who wants to make things about myself. Yeah. I don't want to say it, but that really sounds like a Hannah.
I know. I really was trying to avoid that. When I was saying it, I was like, it gives Hannah.
That was Hannah. And not to silence you. I don't want to silence you ever. Yeah. It's not my intention.
Well,
I just really don't want to silence you.
Hannah.
You're our first Jessa, though.
I know. I actually was really nervous about that because I've talked a lot about how much I like Jessa, and I've been dragged before about it. She would do something terrible, but in her mind know that it's bad. You know, like when you do something and you know, like, and you're smart enough to be like, I should not be doing this. Like, this is not the decision that I should be making, but then you do it anyway.
Totally.
She's so real for that. I'm like, she knows. Because I feel like even her telling the woman that she wasn't going to come back and work for her was her being like, I know that if I come back and work for you, I'm going to do something crazy.
Absolutely.
As in, fuck your husband.
Or like even in the Bushwick scene when they're at the hospital and she's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, period.
Yeah. There's a moment with Jessa where she always realizes like when she reaches her limit. And she's like, I can't. Like, I'm over it now. Yeah. And then she moves on to the next chaotic thing.
So that's your life story?
It is. Like, I just feel like sometimes I have done things where I'm like, even like in the moment of doing it, I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this right now. And I'm smarter than this. And this is probably not going to have good results, but I'm going to do it anyway. And life is just going to have to life. And I'm going to have to figure it out. And she just always figures it out. And I like that about her.
Absolute.
As a Marnie, someone who doesn't do that, it's like, yeah.
In this episode, do you think you're Marnie?
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
you need to fight.
I want to know why.
Somehow you got to fight right now.
In the way that Marnie is like fed up at the end. Well, okay, the thing about Marnie is she puts so much pressure on herself to be a good friend, and it finally like comes out in this episode that she's so frustrated with Hannah because she feels like Hannah's not holding herself to the same standards. And I feel like I've chilled out about this, but not that much. But like in college, I'd get so mad at people for not treating me the way I treated them, whereas like now I realize like people aren't gonna act the same way you do, and you have to like deal with that. But it's like Marnie's like Hannah, I'm being this, and this for you, and you're not being it back, which makes you a bad friend. Like her whole frustration with that, I really identify with, and her like trying to be like, oh, tell me how the reading went, or like, oh, blah blah blah. Like I'm just trying to have a night in, like like it was her being like, I don't want to fight with her about it, but I am annoyed that she's been a shitty friend.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I'm a Hannah in this episode.
Really?
And this one, I'm like, it is so lucky that her boyfriend died.
Okay.
It's very much the meme that's like, I don't care that something good happened to you. It should have happened to me instead.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh my God. It's so funny. It's like the concept of like something crazy happening to that person and they can like leverage it. It's like, well, I wish that could happen to me too. I don't know if I necessarily feel that way all the time, but there definitely is thoughts there.
That's so real of you though. I feel like a lot of us do that. We just pretend that we don't.
Yeah. That was so real. Like the fact that this episode, she was like, I wish they were dead. It's like, that's constantly what me and my friends are saying. It's like, I wish I got hit by a bus so I'd have money.
Yes.
You know, like people are so violent about like the imagery at which their life could be better.
Someone broke their pinky the other day on like a bike and they got so much money from a lawsuit.
Lucky.
And it's like, no, literally so lucky. Or everyone's like, when someone gets like sick and they like lose 10 pounds, you're like, I wish that could be me. Like not sick, but like a stomach bug.
I'm glad I got COVID. I lost 10 pounds.
No, literally.
Yeah. Or like didn't have to go to work or something. Yeah.
One of the luckiest people alive.
Yeah, we all do that. It's crazy. And I appreciate Hannah for being so real in this episode for that. I'm like, okay, girl.
Do you still talk to your preschool friends? If not, why?
No, I have not spoken to them since preschool.
And Marnie goes, you're a terrible person because you don't talk to your preschool friends anymore.
That was so odd to me. Why
no,
preschool?
I get that.
Preschool's so early on. It's like, I don't even remember where I lived in preschool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with it. You know,
I'm gonna swallow the mic.
Well, you're so Jewish. Like you're so.
No. Finish that thought.
You're so Jewish.
You're so Jewish. Your mama.
You're so Jewish. Your family has a close community that has known each other since you were born.
You're
so
Jewish?
you know people from when you were younger.
Not her, me.
You're Jewish?
Yeah.
I thought you were Latino. No, I don't have any friends from preschool. I was fucking
That's
weird.
so funny.
I knew you were gonna pose a question like that, and we were both gonna be like, "What?"
Oh, I thought people had friends from preschool.
Do you still talk to all your friends from preschool?
Yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of them.
Well, we do Passover together.
Oh, okay.
And then, but I also went to preschool in the city, and then 9/11. So I moved to Westchester, and I only talked to one person from that preschool.
Oh, wow.
So the 3 preschools I went to, I talked to 4.
So you don't speak Spanish at all? What is your last name? I just thought you were...
Lazarus is apparently Jewish.
It's in the fucking Bible.
Wait, were you a Christian
That's
as a
so
child?
funny.
Yeah, my dad was a pastor. We were Methodist.
I was Methodist, First United.
Oh my God, yes. United Methodist, confirmation and everything. I used to go to camp and everything.
Oh my God, did you ever go to a vacation
We do
Bible
every
school?
every episode. Every episode, we're like, we went to camp. No, not you.
We end up talking about summer camp.
We
every
always
episode.
have summer camp.
I went to so many camps.
Religious summer camp every episode. I hate to
formative.
do this because it's not you, it's us. We can't talk about camp this episode.
It's okay.
Me
I
and
don't
Evan
wanna
are
talk-
wearing the same top, by the way.
It's cute.
Amelia wore it better.
We should probably talk about the parts of the episode we like.
Yeah.
What stuck out to you in this episode?
I'm gonna eat my shoe.
I'll answer. I honestly, not to always bring it back to Jessa, but I really like how she was like, I can't go back to work for you. I really was like, okay, like growth girl. Like she...
When Kathryn Hahn walks into Shoshana and Jessa's apartment, I gasped.
Yeah.
And I immediately started crying.
Wait, why?
I don't know. I was just very emotional.
Yeah.
By like her being like, hey, like, okay, because first of all, when she says I can't come back, and Kathryn's like, well, yeah, I know that. It's like, so why did you go over there?
Yeah.
Because it's like she didn't really go over there to get her to come back. She gave her there to like work it all out, and then she was kind of like emotionally dumping on Jessa, like her whole marriage issues, but then was also just like, Jessa, how do you feel about this? Like it was almost like she was coming to Jessa for comfort.
Well, yeah, coming for comfort, but I also think it's really interesting that you said Jessa's so mature here, but then Kathryn Hahn's character is interpreting Jessa's whole existence as being immature, even
Exactly.
in this specific moment, as we can see that she is doing something very mature. And I think it's very interesting that I think that always happens when you're always, even when you are improving, people always see you as a lens of something that is probably more holistic, but usually you're more at the tail end of that than more the overall lens, especially in a progress sense. So I think it's very interesting because Jessa is becoming more mature here, and I don't think Kathryn Hahn acknowledges that enough.
You ate that. Yeah.
Well, when Catherine's like, I wish I could mother you, and she's like, I don't need your help.
Yeah.
And she's like, you do. And here's why.
Which is why I think was the whole reason she went over there. She didn't go over there to like try to get her job back or to make her feel better. She went over there to prove to her that I think that you're a messed up person and I didn't get the chance to tell you. But so now here I am, and I'm going to be very passive aggressive and condescending about it. And I really like, people do this all the time. I really think that she wanted her to be in her head, which Jessa was.
No,
she left and
exactly.
she thought about it, and she was like, wow, like, what the hell? And Kathryn won. Like that's what she wanted from her.
Well, Kathryn Hahn is the kind of woman that would wear a pink pussy hat. We always bring it back to this. But then, like, turn around and, like, not actually support the next woman in line. Like,
That's not how I saw that scene at all.
Really?
And this is Amelia's, like, biggest emotional turnaround in the last 6 months. And we're like, actually, she really sucked for that.
No, it was awful. She was very much like, you need help. You need a lot of fixing. I just want to be like a mother to you. God. Be a mother to your own fucking child that you have already. Why do you want to be a mother to me? So when I was watching that, I was like, you're not even a good mother to your child. So you don't want to be a mother to me. You just
not do this to my girl. She's freaking out over here.
No, I agree with that. I just think, like, she went over there to get closure on Jessa, and then Jessa played it very like, there was just like a lot of egos at war where she was like, well, I'm not going to come back. And then she was like, oh, you're winning by being less emotional than me about this. Yeah. You're seeing me in a very vulnerable place. So I'm going to take you down a peg by saying that you need to be mothered.
Exactly.
So it's very much like they were like playing with like who's who's winning,
Yeah.
who's
No,
winning,
it's a
and it ended
breakup.
with Jessa losing.
Exactly.
And Kathryn being like, I feel better that my husband wanted to fuck you because you're the worst.
Yep, you're messed up and you need help, and I don't. And yeah, she left happy. And
Wait, she was like, thank you,
yeah.
because you helped me realize a lot of things about my marriage. It was like, period.
Well, don't you guys think Jessa is the only character we see like lingering emotions compared to like the other girls? There's a like things affect Jessa, and you can see them play out episode to episode where you don't necessarily see that for the other girls throughout the show. Like there's you can
Jessa
see
has
actual
like deep set trauma
yeah.
that's like always popping up in new ways, whereas like Hannah, it's like a new problem every week.
Yeah.
And Marnie's like pissed about a new thing every week.
No, it's trauma with a little T versus trauma with a big T.
Yeah. I agree. Jessa's like always, you can see it in her face. She's always
You can
like,
see it in her face.
so I love it. She's always thinking. She's always overthinking, and I don't know. It's cool. She's always like in the moment too, which I think is great.
She really listens to Shoshana when Shoshana's talking, and is so like listening to her with like this bird's eye view of like this small child is saying so many crazy things. Like, what does this make me think about in my own life?
Well, she doesn't even say anything like so detrimental. Like she lets Shoshana live out her fantasy.
She very much so picks and chooses, which I like about her. She's like, there's so many things that Shoshana says that means nothing and does not need a response. And I like that sometimes Jessa's just like, I'm going out or something. Like she just sometimes doesn't respond to her when she doesn't need a response, because character is like, how do you say her name? I always say it wrong. Shoshana. She just wants to talk. Like she doesn't really need a response. And I think Jessa's really good about only responding to things that she really needs to respond to.
I'm such a Shoshana.
It's like the opposite of Hannah, where like Hannah is like every word needs to be responded to.
Yes.
But Jessa is more of like a listener.
Yeah. Shoshana would be like, okay. As soon as like Jessa's like on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite part of this episode is the book signing. Oh my God. Women talking to women. That should be the name of this damn show.
This episode, more than ever, was about what wasn't said.
Yeah.
Profound.
It was a lot that wasn't said that was said.
The book signing thing, don't you relate to that? Like, I feel like at this age, when you're so insecure about your career, I'm saying this to you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, like,
No, like, I feel like when you're so insecure about, because you don't know what your life is going to necessarily look like, you don't know what you want necessarily, and you just see somebody who looks like they have it all figured out and are the same age as you and are in the same thing that you want to be in, like, is such a painful thing and such a, like, huge reality of like this time in our lives. So it's so like crazy to watch that book signing and be like, this is such a relatable thing.
Yeah.
It's so personified, I felt like it's so interesting because it does mimic the patterns of like, I think we interpret a lot of female communication, which is like known for passive aggressive undertones or just undertones in general. And then it's like the
requirement of being like polite or like performing like the pleasantries of like a acquaintance relationship while both having these very raw and ugly emotions.
It's not even a queen. I think it's frenemies. I think it's the better example here, where it's like the fake niceties followed by like undercutting compliments or just comments in general, which is just so funny. Where it's like, I'm having such a good time, but I think I have to go now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, or have to leave soon. It's like, that's so funny. Because it is something we all are kind of mimicking in our own patterns of speech. And like,
who's the tally in your life right now?
Yeah, who's
That's
doing
a
well?
very
Esther.
nuanced question. I just love the word nuance. I'm like, why do bitches be saying that?
It sounds good in the mouth.
Who's the tally in my life? I don't know. I personally I don't know. I don't think I have one. I think
it's Esther Fallick.
We're like besties. I want her to win so
Friend
bad.
of the pod, Esther Fallick.
Our first guest and Riylan are the biggest frenemies. We're coming. No,
Yeah.
I'd say you guys are close friends with the.
I'm not gonna say it, but
we FaceTime a lot.
Yeah.
There's so many comedians that I hate, but I pretend to love. It's actually kind of funny, but it's the niceties. You know, I think that
now you're coming around to it.
Yeah, I'm coming around. I think that you're both so right. I feel like it's so easy. Trying to change the subject quick. I think it's so easy to be like, oh my God, Hannah's an awful person. Like, why would she go to this book release and like do those things? But I'm like, she's so real and true to herself, because we all feel like that. I think we could wish people the best, and I do a lot of the times, and still feel like, damn, like what is going on in my life? Like I wish this was me. And yeah, we all have frenemies. And
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But our frenemies almost crushes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Every time I like think about someone I hate, I'm like, am I gonna sleep with?
No,
them?
exactly.
Like,
Frenemies
why do I
feel
hate
so much
them?
like a crush.
Yeah, like why do I hate them so
No,
much?
it's because you're also in love with them.
It's
Yeah.
like that Taylor
tweet that. I was like, that's one of the
Taylor
profound
Swift
things I've
lyric
ever
that's
said.
like, the opposite of love is indifference.
I don't know Taylor Swift lyrics.
Why did you make it spoken word?
You kind
Because
of.
I don't remember where it's from. But it's
so
basically like
crazy.
people are like love and hate are the same thing. They're not opposites. Love and indifference are opposites.
Yeah, but it's frenemies, so it's
so
somewhere in
frenemies,
between.
it's like to hate someone is to care about them.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the thing with when you have a crush on someone, most of the time it's like you approach them with like either such kindness or such resent.
anger.
Yeah.
I'm just weird. I get very awkward and shy. I did a mic the other day, and someone was like, "You are kind of awkward," and I was like, "I am." And I don't really like know how to not be, and I don't know. I wouldn't have to get into that this podcast, but
That's the whole premise of this show.
yeah,
I have to
Yeah.
lean in for that.
I
Sheryl
like
Sandberg.
love this.
This
This is like a thing for me. I'm
I
like,
thought you did the tablecloth.
The triangle
we talked
hold.
about that
The
already.
triangle hold is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm
Guys,
just like-
if you aren't watching the video version, you should.
yeah.
Or TikTok.
Or TikTok. We'd love if you subscribe to our YouTube channel at HBO Girls Rewatch. If we get 100 subscribers, something good happens according to YouTube guideline suggestions.
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
No, I'm
My
kidding.
favorite part of the episode was the Hannah and Marnie
Stop
fight
trying
at
to
the
kiss
end.
me.
And they're roommates.
The Hannah and Marnie fight, it's just like so relatable to like how me and Evan are, don't you think?
Do you guys fight like that?
I hate to say this, Amelia. I think when she gets on, hopefully when she gets on a ketamine infusion, we can fight like that.
Okay.
But she doesn't have the emotional reserves to fight like that.
Okay.
Totally. Somebody posted that they're microdosing ketamine, and I thought I'd check it out. It's only $129 a month.
I'll go with you or something.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
it's life
To do it.
I really want to change my life.
Wait, I want to know why you like that scene so much, though.
Oh, it's because before this television show, girls didn't get to fight on TV unless it was about a boy. But this scene is them fighting about how they're both unhappy and how they want to blame that on the other person, which is
Yeah.
so like when you're an angry 24-year-old, you want someone to blame it on, and of course you're gonna blame it on whoever's next to you.
Yeah.
And it's like they know each other so well, they are so close, but they're pissing each other off. Like
Yeah.
Hannah's so insecure about this book thing, and like Marnie's like, it's actually not that bad, and it's actually, you should be happy for your friend. She wrote a book that I liked. Like,
Yeah.
relax, chill, maybe stop being so self-obsessed.
Yeah.
And then Hannah's like, well, you've been so annoying because Charlie broke up with you and now you're insecure and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So just the way they go at it and the way they weaponize their words. Because it's like in TV when boys fight, they literally just punch each other and then
Yeah.
it's the end of a scene. And you're like, is this what television has to be?
Right.
What if it's girls kind of like throating each other? Is that what it's called?
Throating each other.
Throating?
Huh.
I've
Where
never
they-
used it in that sense,
Where
but
they use
yeah.
their throat they weaponize their speech.
My brain is going somewhere really bad.
Yeah.
I'm like sexualizing.
Yeah, but I get what you mean, though. Yeah.
No, it's a real
They're
thing.
usually in
That's
their
such a good
words
point.
as weaponry,
Yeah.
and it's so cool to see how they heighten
Or they have acts.
You're so right.
Weaponized.
the way they
No, I'm
weaponize
sorry.
their words.
No, I like
Yeah.
weaponry. I'm sorry.
And it's like, I'm bringing up some like humiliating thing that I know about you from 10 years ago, or like I'm gonna bring up the fact that you're insecure now that you're not in a relationship, or I'm gonna bring up the fact that like this person said like,
I had a
They
fight
just-
like this
with who?
with my friend, the girl I went to prom with. I mean, now we're friends again, but went to prom together and then we lived together in college. And like, we were living in a house of 4 other people, but we, at just some point, like sometimes when you're so close with someone, there's like friction created in that relationship because it's so easy for you to get on each other's nerves because you know exactly what buttons to push and everything compounds. So it's like, and I also think we weren't having like the right emotional conversations, like checking in on each other, making sure that like we are, because we didn't talk to each other for like 2 months while living in the same house, which was so stressful.
That's crazy.
And like really made me feel so anxious. And we had like, I had 3 other friends living in the house, and like it just like always, it felt so political during that time. Because we were all like such a friend group still, and still did stuff together, but still there was like this underlining tension.
Yeah. This was the first episode, y'all, where I felt like I felt like Marnie does not like Hannah.
Yeah, what gave it away?
Like literally after this episode and watching further along, I was like, there was always an undertoning feeling of like she like tolerates her because she's like a friend that she's had for a long time.
I think they're both very lonely.
Yeah, I'm like, they don't like each other.
They don't
like
really
at all
have much in common.
It's crazy.
But it is that thing where it's like your childhood friend, you just like kind of are still just, that's so common.
They interloop when it comes to men. I see a lot of like similarities with them about how much they take from men and how willing they are to give themselves to men who like don't appreciate them at all.
Totally.
So every time like I see them separately dealing with different relationships and different ways that men talk to them, I'm like, they're so similar in that way. And it makes me like wonder like why.
Do you think even Adam? When they start officially dating.
Yeah, there was a lot of things. I feel like Hannah would have. There's a lot of things that Adam did where I was like, to Hannah, where I was like, okay, I can understand Hannah and Marnie being best friends. By the way, like Marnie got treated by men as well. I'm like, and it's so funny because they both did not like the kind of guys that they dated, that both of them dated. But I was like, they're so similar, but so different. Like Adam.
Totally. They're both
what do you think Charlie did? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just think
A lot.
Charlie treated Marnie like a doll, and I think I think the way that Marnie and Hannah enter a relationship, and they're like, this is how a boy should treat me.
Yeah.
Whereas rather than like, this is a person I'm in a relationship with.
Exactly. And then when we get to meet Marnie's parents and our mom and Hannah's parents, it kind of starts to make sense a little bit.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about that on this podcast. But yeah.
The Marnie's mom episode, we got to get you back.
Yeah.
Amelia just received a text from her yoga studio.
Oh my God. I love yoga. Do you do hot
That's
yoga?
so funny.
I do hot yoga. I just got off the wait list for Inferno Hot Pilates tomorrow at 9 a.m. and I said, yes, I'll be there.
Yes, I love that.
We should go.
Yeah, I do hot yoga in downtown Brooklyn. We should go. And I spin.
What place?
I can't think of the name of it. I have to show you.
Okay, perfect.
I go
How
there
do you
often.
get there?
I just take the G or the A.
Okay, we're going.
What's the time?
It's cool. The clock. Okay, I want to say the quote where Tally's being like, I want to be so skinny that people are worried about me.
Oh, yeah, I wrote it down. I want to be so skinny people think I have a disease.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like a throwaway line of like an overheard conversation at the book party. And it's like, that is almost every conversation.
That's almost every conversation in this town.
My favorite line is at the beginning when Jessa's like, your boyfriend should kill himself. You deserve it. And then Hannah's like, well, thank you, but you're just saying that because you love me. It's like, every conversation I have every single day with my friends is that.
Yeah. I kind of love that. I love girls living in like a delusion, and we all do it. And I like when we just support each other in that instead of being like, girl, get it together.
Totally. It's like, that's a line that would never happen on the bold type or like younger, but it happens on girls.
I hate it younger. I love Hillary Duff.
I think it's funny because they made that. Okay, such a side tangent. In Younger, they made the shuffleboard bar so famous because it was the same. They had it on the show the same like week it opened up essentially, or they filmed there the first week it opened up. And that place is toxic because it's underneath the above the Gowanus Canal. So people go there all the time and are getting like toxic stuff.
I did not know that.
Aaron Brockovich, we need you. Girl, help us.
I'm sorry, cut that too.
And I will. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
I love
I didn't even finish my quote.
Did you even start one?
Well, I did the fat one.
Oh, I finished it. I'm really stepping on your toes today.
I want hot chocolate.
I like when Marnie said she captured something really true about the uncertainty of being our age. I cried twice.
I know, that was so funny because it's like, of course, that's what Hannah wants to do. So for her friend to say that is devastating.
Yeah.
And it's like she didn't even mean it directly to, piss her off.
But I think she did.
But also maybe she did.
Yeah.
Maybe she knew what she was doing.
Maybe I'm putting too much pressure on the characters, but I'm just like, they know, they're friends. They know what makes their friends tick. You're
right. She absolutely was doing it to piss her off. I just am a Marnie apologist. I'm like, I would never do something like that. Don't say that. And it's like, that's a fake character you're talking about, and the calls for like coming from inside the house.
Yeah. What is your craziest conspiracy theory about this show?
My crazy one probably would be that Lena made them all sign NDAs and they can't talk about her until after a certain amount of years. And I think that in a few more years, we're going to hear some crazy stories about...
Leah Michelle coded.
Shoshana's launching a podcast. So
yeah, she would be the one.
Zosha.
She would be the one.
Mammoth?
She would be the one. Mammoth.
I also, this might be crazy, but Jessa is married. Jessa's sister in real life is married to Penn Badgley. So I have to think that...
From Gossip Girl?
Mm-hmm. Her sister in real life is married to Penn Badgley. So I have a conspiracy theory that Penn Badgley is also an awful person.
Oh, I would think so.
That's not a theory.
Oh, people love him.
People do love him.
People love him.
His whole show is about being a bad person.
Well, true. That's kind of hot though. But I just really am like, I just think that anyone super associated with Lena Dunham is like, I just assume that they're like crazy. And so totally. I just have a theory.
Featuring Google.
No, Jemima seems really normal.
I think Zosa seems pretty no.
Yeah.
Well,
she's the queen of the Nepos. David Mamet.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I would say my favorite quote. One of my favorite quotes here is when Hannah finally goes to Grumpy's Cafe, and then Ray's like, "This isn't a consumption hospital. We don't wear aprons here." It's like the whole critique of her outfit being like, it's so funny to bring up American Apparel. Like, get those jeans that taper at the end from American Apparel. It's like, yeah, we are in 2010.
We are.
It's so funny. About that. I always go to Grumpy's Cafe, so it's like that's actually really meaningful for me. I'm seeing the employees, and they're not wearing white there.
They're not wearing white.
On purpose.
They're not, white sundresses.
And they're not wearing sweatpants either?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Well, this kind of actually brings us to our last segment of the podcast.
That outfit in Brooklyn!
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
One thing I noticed this episode, which is crazy, I didn't know this was a segment, but Hannah's shoes, when she was walking up to like read her poem that she wrote on the train, I was like, wow, look at those clunkers. But like, they were cute. I was like, I kind of would wear those today. Couldn't believe, I don't know, like I really liked them. She was like known for a little heel. Hannah always kind of wore a little heel.
She kind of was like, here's a little heel.
Yeah.
And she's like, here's a nice top. Like, it's poorly fit. It's a weird shape. And she's just like, hey, I'm a girl wearing a top.
I loved it. And like her little walk and all her shoes. I like really liked her. I liked her heels in the episode. I wish I remembered.
The number one song at this time is Somebody That I Used to Know.
Oh.
That is my song
for everyone.
Wow.
This was coming out when Glee, the Warblers, and what's his name? Kurt.
Oh,
Kurt was dating the Warbler.
He was so cute.
No, everything in our power is. I'm like, we can't have our next podcast be a Glee rewatch podcast, but everything we do, it keeps linking back.
It keeps going. Well,
we have no choice. I feel like I'm being born right now.
But what was 2012 was Shoshana being like internet dating.
Oh my god, internet
profile.
dating.
Oh, yeah.
Like instead of like, I'm on the apps. It's
That's
like
such
I made
a
an
good
internet
one.
dating profile. It's like, are we in the 90s? It was very Sex in the City.
Yeah. I lived though. I'm like, wow.
I'm like,
well,
yeah,
I think it's
go to Old Navy
exactly.
flagship store. Word.
No, people are always paying for a premium membership so they don't interact with quote unquote weird people.
And I'm like, the weird people are the ones who are paying $8.
Exactly.
Like you're in the West Village. Well, it's like it's kind of like Raya coded.
Oh, what was so funny was when at the end of the episode, it just shows them slamming their doors and we see the wall of their apartment and there's just like a cross-stitch thing that says, you are a badass, and then a giant poster of a slice of cake. There's nothing more 2012 than an apartment that's styled like that.
You have a good eye. I don't even remember that.
Oh.
No, it's
I start getting insecure. I'm like, I care too much about interior design. I'm fucking stupid and...
That's so cool.
Well, I think the book release party is so funny. Like 2012... books were really a thing in a way they're not now. I guess it's coming back, but
then Take it back.
No.
I love books.
Books are not a thing anymore.
2012.
So we're watching a damn TV show.
Did you guys like this episode?
This was my favorite episode of all the ones we rewatched.
Emotional.
Oh wow.
Is that crazy to say?
This
What are
is
you?
such an
I don't.
emotional
I sense
episode.
from you that you don't specifically love this one.
I think it was just like a placement episode. I think it was just like an episode to get us to the next chapter and to end the other chapter well, because the other one ended.
Oh yeah,
with such
it's.
chaos.
I mean, it's the episode before the ending of the season.
Yeah.
So it has to set up a
It
lot
really
of things.
is setting
Yeah.
up the shifts. Yeah.
And
that's why I
like
thought
they
it was
didn't know
good,
they're
though.
getting season 2.
They didn't.
So
huh?
it could close this. It could close the show very nicely with this.
Yeah.
Episode 9 is always a dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Episode 9 is always big. It's always the one right before Christmas break.
You're not always as disappointed by episode 9. Like 10, there's so many expectations for it, but 9, you don't have expectations. And you know the reason we get let down is because we have expectations.
Yeah. It just sets up the story for the season finale.
Somebody said that. Expectations, the root of all heartache.
Who said that? I love that.
Elvis.
I think it
Next
was like
tattoo.
Aristotle.
Wow. I love her. Yeah, that was.
Well, this was
fun.
such a good episode.
This is so fun.
Oh,
Thanks.
Rylan, thanks for coming on. Sorry we're
Yeah.
in a crazy mood today, but
It's okay. Thanks for having me.
You
This
made
is
us feel
great.
so-
Hon,
safe to be
is Jack?
ourselves.
Is Jill and Jack?
I
And
love.
then
Jack and
Humpty Dumpty.
if you're obsessed with Riylan Mills, where can you find her?
At Riylan Mills on everything.
On everything.
You're talented.
My name is literally Riylan. No one else spells it like that. So
Yeah,
Oh,
because
you're the only
R.I.
one.
I am the only one. Riylan.
This is the best episode of my life. Thanks
Yeah.
everyone for listening. Please rate and review us and give us 5 stars. I beg.
Please, please, please. We'll be
It's
back
Amelia's
next.
birthday just happened, so like give us 5 stars for that reason alone. You can tell that Texas took a lot out of her, so it's like get something back.
We'll be back next week with season 1 finale.
She went to the Lone Star State, but don't give us 1 Lone Star. Give us 5 of them.
We'll see you next week.
Everything bigger in Texas.
Bye.